Good evening and welcome. Thank you to the administrative team for being here. I appreciate the leadership you bring to the district, and in particular tonight to the work on our goals. Tonight's presentation is a summary of the work that we have done during this school year on our articulated goals for the year. Before we get into the goals, I just want to begin by framing the work in a larger context of what we do. Our strategic plan is based on beliefs which lead us to a mission that are underlined by objectives and strategies. And we align our goals to the 6 strategies within the strategic plan that support the work in our mission. Our mission outlines what we want for our students, in that we want them to be lifelong learners, dynamic thinkers, and compassionate contributing citizens. It also defines the learning community that we want to do that work within, especially a rich, differentiated academic programs, a safe and supportive environment, which allows for the exploration of individual goals and the celebration of accomplishments. And this is definitely the time of year where we look at that part of our mission statement in particular, and also allows for opportunities in leadership and service. As I said, we have strategies within our strategic plan. These include leadership, curriculum, wellness, communication, infrastructure and resources, and partnerships. This is our second year working towards goals that align to the beliefs, mission, objectives, and strategies within the strategic plan. What this work does, allows us to concentrate our resources, our staff, our curriculum, our programs, assessments, and etc., all working towards annual goals. The research that we used to outline the framework is that of McChesney, Covey, and Huling from 2021. They talk about having your everyday work that accounts for about 80% of your work, and then having your focus area, which should account for about 20% of your work. They call these their wildly important goals. The goal of the wildly important goal is that if you focus your efforts, you are able to achieve with concentrated effort towards that goal. And I think that you will see that that happened as we present our work tonight. The 3 areas that we focused on for 23-24 are number 1, departments, and we have 2 department goals, one in facilities and one in athletics. We also have a goal on ICT, which is integrated co-teaching, and that implementation that we use this year to plan for 24-25. And we also had a K-12 goal in curriculum writing. So I'm going to allow our amazing administrators to come up and speak specifically to these 4 goals within these 3 areas. Our first administrator is Mr. Iorio, our athletic director. He is going to come up and speak about the athletic goal.
Twice in a row, batting leadoff, huh? All right, I like it. Thank you for the opportunity to present some important highlights from our current year's goal. You've heard me on numerous occasions talk about our newly revised athletic philosophy, which focuses on using interscholastic sports as a holistic means of individual development, supporting the social, emotional, the academic, and the physical development of our athletes. I wanted to move over to our first highlight. So basically what I just talked about is our goal right here. So the highlight number 1, continued with donations and community charitable and mental wellness organizations. This aligns our school community around the educational and pro-social value of purpose-based sports. This is an area that we think is extremely important. Purpose-based sports can have different meanings for different people. And I learned this during my conversations with a lot of my coaches, a lot of the athletes. And some of the feedback that I've received involving purpose-based sports during these conversations, and it's important to really listen to these responses. Achieving excellence, very broad response there. Overcoming social, emotional, and physical challenges. Being part of something larger than just our athletic teams. Showing selflessness. What strikes me to be extremely important here is the fact that you don't hear the idea of winning or losing. The focus is on the social emotional aspect and that purpose-based aspect that we talk about. Highlight number 2, improved on newly implemented end-of-season coaching procedures. This is where we continue to develop a coherent narrative with our coaches and their communication with student athletes and discuss the importance of being transformational rather than transactional. You've heard me talk about in the past. So we want to be able to have those consistent conversations, and one of the things that I often do during these, I guess you can say, exit meetings or procedures with the coaches is talk about some of the situations that have come up during the course of the season. How did we respond to some of these situations? What were those conversations like? And for me, that's a way to develop that coherent narrative that we talk about. The next highlight, multiple student athletes represented Pleasantville in Section 1 as members of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association all sportsmanship teams. We've recognized a couple of our student athletes at a couple of our previous meetings. One name in particular, Aiden Kaizi. He was recognized by the Section 1 coaches and Officials Association, where he received like the overall sportsmanship award. Our girls soccer team in the fall received the Officials Sportsmanship Award. Many members of our athletic teams throughout all 3 seasons were nominated and selected to the Section 1 All Sportsmanship Team, which is sponsored by New York State Public High School Athletic Association. So at the end of each season, I ask the coaches for some feedback on some of the athletes, anyone who they would like to nominate, and each season we did have certain athletes that were selected. We have recognized them at each one of our board meetings after the season, and we'll do that again at the end of this month. We've offered student athletes leadership opportunities. So you've heard me talk about our partnership with the Positive Coaching Alliance. We've utilized them in a different capacity this year, more as consultants. So one thing that the Mount Pleasant schools decided to do was to collaborate together and work towards producing a public service announcement involving sportsmanship. This is a top initiative in New York State and Section 1. We thought that we would have a finished product by now. We do not. I did not realize the amount of time that this was going to take. But we've done a great job. We've made a lot of great steps towards producing this announcement. I think by summer we should be complete. We've also worked with PCTV, Shane McGaffney, who is going to also help facilitate the process. It was a great experience for our athletes and another way for us to do something besides just playing sports. Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to start tonight by just giving a brief history of the middle school HVAC project. This project was funded by a combination of grant money, budget money, and a bond that was passed by the community in 2022. And if you remember, the initial bids for this project came in significantly over budget, at which point we reduced the scope moderately and rebid and received bids that were comfortably within our budget number. So I just want to go through some of the highlights. The construction piece of this project started in June of 2023, and it's almost a complete replacement of the HVAC system at the middle school. And we'll add heating, air conditioning, dehumidification, ventilation, and a building management control system. The work has continued throughout the school year, in the evening, after hours, on weekends, and over school breaks, and we've completed quite a bit of work in the past 10 months. We've also added a roofing restoration scope for 4 older sections of the roofing that were at the end of their warranty period, giving us an additional 25-year warranty. And we were able to fund this work with money from our operating budget. And the reason we did this is because we had quite a bit of roofing up there that was out of warranty, and we're putting a lot of large equipment up on the roof, so we thought it was a good idea to get these sections redone, get another 25-year warranty before we put equipment up on top of it. We've also been able to move forward with some very beneficial change orders, including a major LED lighting upgrade and a supplemental heating control upgrade, all while staying on budget. The project also includes an electrical service line upgrade, which has been coordinated with Con Edison, and the work is scheduled for the first week of July. And while we do this work, and while this work is being completed, we will be on a temporary generator for probably about a week. If you remember last summer, we were, 2 summers ago, excuse me, we were on a temporary generator at the middle school while we were doing some work. So while I mentioned Con Edison, I just want to throw out there that the one wild card in this whole project is Con Edison. I've had a lot of experience dealing with Con Edison over my years, both as a builder and here at the school. And although they are a great company, they write their own schedule. So even though they're scheduled, if they have something that comes up, an emergency, the schedule can change. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed about Con Ed scheduling. And then finally, a coordinated effort that included me, our contractors, the facilities committee, the middle school administration, and staff has kept this project on time and on budget.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
So those were our 2 department goals, and we're going to transition to our 2 K-12 goals, one in ICT and one in curriculum writing. These goals you can see align to 5 out of the 6 strategies in the strategic plan, including leadership, curriculum, wellness, communication, and partnerships. So without further ado, I'm going to call up Dr. Bala to talk about our ICT goal.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here. The goal in the special education department was to refine our continuum of services offered within district by adding integrated co-teaching services, or ICT, as a layer to our continuum of services at the elementary and middle school levels. And we've been offering ICT services in the core content areas at the high school for quite some time now. So our aim was to refine our practices utilizing a coaching model to ensure that they are in line with current research and thinking in the field. Just as a brief recap, ICT services involve classrooms that are comprised of students with IEPs and students without IEPs. And the class is taught by a general education and a special education teacher, and students receive their primary instruction in this setting. There were several reasons that we decided to add ICT as a layer to our continuum at the elementary and middle school levels. The four primary reasons I would say include that it would allow us to meet our student needs based on our projections for the upcoming school year. B, it would promote continuity in our continuum of services. It would promote vertical continuity in our continuum of services across the district. When we received some COVID relief money, we were able to utilize portion of the funds to hire strategically, where we recruited individuals that were dually certified in general education and special education, and thus we were able to add this layer to our continuum of services in 2 buildings without any need for staffing increases. And ICT would also allow us to service some of our students in the least restrictive environment. Of course, for those students for whom ICT would constitute the least restrictive environment. And just so we understand, visually here, ICT would fall somewhere between our resource room services and our special classes, which we call our modified classes. Resource room services are small group pull-out services that focus on skill remediation, and then students typically push back into the general education classes to receive their primary instruction. In our modified classes, these classes are comprised solely of students with IEPs and are taught by certified special education teachers. And so those students then receive their instruction in the self-contained model, versus ICT. For some students, they would then receive their primary instruction in a class that is comprised of students with IEPs and students without IEPs. I'm happy to report that we have been able to successfully incorporate ICT at the elementary and middle school levels this year. ICT was considered as an offering at our annual review meetings in all 3 buildings. Of course, we engaged in a lot of professional learning over the course of the year to be able to do so, which involved workshops, coaching, site visits to neighboring districts that were offering ICT services to understand their strategies and practices and what we would like to bring back to our district and incorporate into our own practices. Of course, anytime you add a layer to the continuum of services, it pushes you to redefine the other programs along the continuum and reconceptualize the student profiles that would be serviced by the different programs along your continuum. So I completed that, shared that information out at staff meetings for the special education department, and then the faculty at large at the faculty meetings in the middle school and elementary school. I also then shared the revised continuum of services for some parents and community members at a meeting hosted by SEPTA. So some of the highlights for a lot of the work that we conducted this year as a department. So thank you for giving us an opportunity to come and share our work.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
This is amazing. And, I remember the class it was the graduating class of 2018. That was the kindergarten class when we first brought back many of our special ed students. So this is another level of this. So is the goal, so for example, elementary school has, X number of sections. So is the goal that all the sections will be ICT or maybe 1 or 2 or as needed? How does that work?
It's completely based on the student needs. So we have different cohorts
Sure.
that have a lot of different needs depending upon the students. So the
we're-
team looked at the profiles of all of the students. And as you could see by the arrow slide, right, like when that wasn't there, it's either supplemental instruction via resource room,
Right,
which is basically another opportunity to revisit,
right.
or it's modified work exclusively. So this addition helped us meet a need for students, if we had them in that particular
Right.
grade, with the ICT, which, as Rook explained, it's a shared responsibility. So between the combination of the special education teacher and the general education teacher, it's a delivery model
Right.
to support all of the students in the room.
In that room. Yeah, because it's definitely in the high school, there's certain classes, so I guess, and it's interesting, there's like the class of 2018, the graduating class, that was a heavy number of students that required services, whereas I know the class of 23 was a very different number of students that required, so everybody will be ready for whatever is needed, I guess is what you're saying, which is great, because that's really what we have to be ready.
Well, definitely, I feel like one of the common things we always talk about is our relationships and the expertise of our staff.
Yeah,
So when you look at their relationships of knowing their students and knowing their families, and you look at their expertise and really learning and understanding this, not part of this was, we wanted to do this last year for this year.
Yeah.
And we really listened to the staff as they were like, we don't know that we're ready for this.
Right.
So we put the brakes on and we really redefined. So they started looking at students, you know, the annual review season
Sure.
happens starting in January for the subsequent school year.
Right.
So you're looking at students then with anticipation and
Right.
trying to project out where you might need and where you have staffing needs so that we can budget
great.
accordingly.
So it's providing flexibility across the district for the students, depending on what the needs are, which is really excellent. Thank you.
And I had one other question.
Yes,
Do you have any idea, sort of looking towards next year, how many ICT classes there might be in the elementary school and the middle school for sort of this first year?
Yes, of course. So we're offering ICT classes at every grade level at the elementary school with the exception of one. So it's
That's great.
And then at the middle school, we're offering them in our, starting with our they're going to be offered in all content areas at the different grade levels. Some of them will look a little different than others.
Let me just clarify, the 4 core,
Right.
what we offer at
Right,
the high
in the middle
school,
school, yeah.
and what we're going to be offering at the middle school.
Right.
Got it.
And in 4 of the 5 grade levels at BRS.
That's excellent. That's awesome. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So I am very lucky and excited to share some of our curriculum writing goals. This goal, we have our short, our mid, and our long-term planning. It is very much a 3 to 5 year process. Leading up to this year, we met as a curriculum council, we developed our scopes and our sequences, and we developed different aspects for our unit maps and unit plans. The time that we've used to dedicate towards this goal have been during superintendent conference days, extended days, faculty meetings, and departments. And although these meeting times are really dedicated to a lot of different things, taking this time to stop, reflect, work on these different aspects that we met with as a district and really plan out what we're going to be doing moving forward with all of the different changes that have been happening within our school has really been a valuable and worthwhile process for us. Our staff have been able to sit down and really look at a horizontal level, whether it's across their grade level, whether it's across 2 teachers that teach the same subject, or whether it's just across a course that they're the single teacher that teaches it and have that time to do. It's something that our teachers practice constantly, but doing it holistically as an entire district has shown a lot of positive benefits thus far. Long term, this will allow us to move from not only just horizontal to that vertical alignment and be able to get our department teachers together and sit down and look at assessments and instructional practices and core specific primary goals when it comes to state standards, priority goals that we're looking to teach, and we're really excited for a lot of that work. This year's goal has been to develop a scope and sequence, and we've completed it for all of our courses taught within our district, and to begin curriculum mapping for each teacher's primary course. So if I'm a teacher and I teach 4 math classes and 1 other course, my primary course is that math course that I teach, and I'm going to begin curriculum mapping there. Now I'll invite up Mrs. Hunger.
So thank you so much. I get the opportunity to share a little bit about our rationale of why this work. Why is this important? So this really begins with reflection and collaboration. And when I share that, I mean that happened both at the building and department level, as well as with the professional development committee. Curriculum writing as a goal became evident as we began to prepare for the implementation of ICT K-8. So whether collaboration is taking place within one classroom, 2 teachers in one classroom, across grade levels, or in between different grades, having articulated curriculum provides a common framework for all of our instructors. I'm going to talk a little bit about different areas tonight. So the need to systematize our curriculum has also allowed for teachers across grades and content areas to view written curriculum. These systems will allow for teachers to access work as they collaborate in support of delivering instruction for all of our students. This provides also a way to support new teachers as they are coming into the district, whether that is for a new probationary period or a shorter term leave replacement, by providing them access to what came before them. Click through. Put them all up for now. Okay. So in addition, there has been a lot of changes in education as well as in the world. And this has also helped us to prioritize the need for curriculum writing within our district. So through curriculum writing, we've been able to focus on changes in standards. This includes the Next Gen Learning Standards, the digital literacy standards, as well as the SEL benchmarks. There have been changes to test content as well as test formats, and this is it really offers us a lens. It offers us a way to relook at how we're presenting information to our students. And looking at our students, we can appreciate their changing needs. So focusing on curriculum has let us look at their needs and how our curriculum focuses on equity, our work within DEIA, as well as our use of technology throughout the district. And again, going back to a little bit of the need to systematize our curriculum has allowed access for all teachers. And I emphasize because really this has been one of the greatest gifts that we have found this year as we embark on this journey and we're getting those systems up and running, is the access that is provided for not only the people that are teaching those courses, but access for other teachers as well as across buildings. Mr. Palumbo will now come up and share the highlights of our curriculum work this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
So of course, I've got the best slide. I get to talk about all the great work that we did. Fantastic. It's been an exciting year in terms of our professional learning here at Pleasantville High School and throughout the district. You know, we focused our energy around curriculum writing, which is very important. This year we were able to get scopes and sequences for all of our courses. We've begun curriculum mapping after that was completed. That is beneficial for a number of reasons. I was doing some quick math in the back of the room. We've got over 6 teachers taking on new roles this fall. They walk in now and they have a template in terms of where to go, what to start with. And then of course they're gonna add their own flavor to it, but it's a starting point, which is really important when someone's transitioning to the district. It provides for continuity, sustainability, and it certainly is a highlight, you know, of the work that we've done. Throughout the year, we did PD around developing our scopes and sequences, and subsequently these curriculum maps that we're working on with a focus on maps and unit plans. As Ms. Hunger mentioned earlier, this is the first step in some vertical work that we plan to do in the future. As we've told the teachers and the community, we've got the Board of Education's and Dr. Desa's support to do this work over a number of years. You know, so we're very excited about continuing to do it. Teachers this year have begun those unit plans, and we just met today to do some work around some summer curriculum writing, you know, which will only add to this and put our teachers and our students in a position to be successful in the classroom. We're really excited, you know, about all this work. The feedback that I've got from teachers here in the building is that they certainly appreciate, you know, the ability to do this work. Whenever we can, we work in teams, so it's really fostered a significant amount of collaboration, you know, among the staff here in the building. And then, like I said, the next steps will be a lot of vertical stuff, which will be fun between the 3 buildings. So I want to thank the Board of Education for their support. These are our highlights for the year. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Desa, who will finish up with some closing remarks. Thank you.
I just am so proud. First, I'm appreciative of the board for this structure. Just a little trip down memory lane. 2 years ago, so this is the end of my second full year as superintendent, and we started this research, so 3 summers ago, and 2 summers ago, and it really helped us frame a strategic plan that was written pre-COVID and really had our efforts in trying to do so much in the way of those 6 strategies in a way to support our students and achieving our mission. And the structure of the goals the first year was that we had 10 goals, Each building, each department, the school board, myself, we all had goals and we made tremendous strides. And when we reflected on that practice, everybody really loved having a focus. Listen, we're gonna have the 80%. We're gonna have things thrown at us all the time. We live in a forever changing world and education is very responsive to that world. Albeit perhaps slow, but there are always changes that we have to keep up with that become part of our 80%. But really allowing the focus this year on these two K-12 goals. ICT is an impact led by special education, but it impacts our entire school system, and how we're delivering instruction might only be in those 4 classes at BRS for next year, but it really is an entire district. When we started this school year, our superintendent's conference days required everyone to look at the different service models in your general education delivery model, in your 504, as well as special education. So really what this entire faculty and staff has done under the leadership of this administrative team in these 12 months is really a tremendous accomplishment. When I came here and I started seeing the need for this curricular work, they completely, along with the curriculum coordinator, said, there's no way we're gonna do this unless it's a long-term commitment. So curriculum writing and being reflective about what we're doing and how things are changing made me think about, today was the first administration of the algebra regions aligned to the next gen standards. We will get those results and we will have to make changes, but we have a base that we're coming to. Some of the curriculum, summer curriculum writing project proposals that the team looked at today were in reflection of the science tests. New York State just changed the 5th and the 8th grade science tests, and we saw what the structures of those assessments were, and we saw what the demands are going to be on our students, and people want to work over the summer on looking at data and on making some reflective changes in our work. And we have a starting point. Once you have articulated curriculum, you can do so many different things with them. This service model in ICT is in support of all students being able to access their education in the least restrictive environment. Our focus on the whole child in athletics, I feel like, is very reflective of who we are as a community and what we're looking for in terms of our education model. And the HVAC project, I mean, it's just a tremendous amount of work and partnerships so that our students can learn in an environment that is safe and healthy for them to do so. So I'm just so proud of the work, and this is one of the hearts from the 4th graders last year that says, we are a team, I believe in you, you're the best. So in the words of our students, I have to just echo what they've said in appreciation for our entire faculty and staff under the leadership of this administration and the support of the board and the community at large. So thank you.